Day everyone. Today I will be discussing the introductions and definitions under the MARPOL Annex 4. This annex is crucial for protecting our marine environment from preventing pollutions from ships, specifically targeting the sewage management. So first, let us have the introduction. MARPOL Annex 4, part of the International Convention for Prevention of Pollution from Ships, focusing on managing and controlling sewage from ships to protect our marine environment. So, this is the objectives aims to know, understand the purpose and scope of MARPOL Annex 4, identify areas where sewage discharge and prohibited, recognize the different types of sewage treatment system used on ships. Learn about the obligations of port to provide sewage reception facilities. And last but not the least, understand the requirements of obtaining international sewage pollution prevention certificates. So now let us have the overview of MARPOL Annex 4. So as I've said earlier, MARPOL Annex 4 is a crucial part of the International Convention for the Prevention of Pollutions from Ships. So MARPOL Annex 4, what is all about MARPOL Annex 4? So it's focusing on the sewage management. So now, let us define what is sewage. So, ang sewage kasi, it refers to the waste water or water materials. So, the sources of this sewage is the toilets, urinals, and medical facilities, and iba pang sources sa mga barko. So, the purpose of the Annex 4 is we need to manage ng maayos para maiwasan yung pollute na sa ating mga karagatan. So now we have the definition of key terms: sewage, holding tanks, and nearest land. So, a holding tank stores this sewage until can be treated or safely disposed of away from the nearest land to prevent pollution. So now, let's define what is holding tanks. So, holding tank refers to a container on ship used to store sewage until it can be properly treated or disposed of when the ship is far enough from the land. So, this is essential, no? Para hindi tayo basta-basta nagtatapon ng mga dumi sa dagat. So next, let us define what is sewage. So as I've said earlier, sewage refers to water waste or material waste. So ang sewage ay nagmumula sa toilets, urinals, and medical facilities at ibang sources pa sa barko. So, yun nga, kailangan nating i-manage ito na maayos para maiwasan natin yung pag-pollute sa karagatan. And next is the nearest land. So, nearest land, this term refers to the baseline from which the territorial sea of the coastal state is measured. So, dapat ang barko ay nasa tamang distansya mula sa lupa bago ito mag-discharge ng treated sewage upang maprotektahan ang coastal environment. So, in these rules, hindi lang yung dagat yung pinoprotektahan natin, and also the coastal area. So as you can see in my presentation, it says that in 3 nautical miles, discharge allow only when using approved STP. And next is discharge allowed only when approved. So the 12 nautical miles is allowed only when using a disinfecting system or STP.
Let's start with areas within 3 nautical miles of shorelines. This rule exists because coastal areas are some of the most heavily used by people for activities like swimming, fishing, and boating. For example, consider a popular beach town like Boracay in Philippines. This area attracts swimmers and tourists year-round, and sewage discharge here will pollute the water, making it unsafe for people and damaging local marine life. By prohibiting discharge within 3 miles of shoreline, we protect water quality and reduce the impact on fish, plants, and animals that live close to shore. Second is the designated special areas. Certain regions around the world have been classified as special areas by the International Maritime Organization because they're especially vulnerable to pollution. The Baltic Sea is one of these areas. The sea is almost completely enclosed by land with limited water circulation, which makes it especially prone to pollution buildup. As a result, sewage discharge in the Baltic is either highly restricted or banned altogether. This helps prevent environmental damage and keeps the sea healthier for both local communities and the diverse range of marine species that live there. Additionally, the other special areas is the Mediterranean Sea, the Baltic Sea, the Black Sea, the Red Sea, the Gulf area, the North Sea, and the Antarctic area. Lastly is the enclosed or semi-enclosed waters. Enclosed or semi-enclosed waters like bays and lagoons are areas where water circulation is limited, meaning pollutants don't disperse as quickly. A well-known example is Chesapeake Bay on the US East Coast. This bay has limited water exchange with the open ocean, so if sewage is discharged here, it can linger, leading to buildup of pollution. This buildup harms water quality and can lead to issues like oxygen depletion, which negatively impacts fish and other marine life. By prohibiting sewage discharge in enclosed or semi-enclosed waters, we help prevent long-term damage to this ecosystem. That's all to prohibited areas for sewage discharge. The next topic is the conditions for discharge. First off, let's discuss where ships can discharge sewage. The general rule is that ships must be at least 3 nautical miles away from the nearest land before they can discharge any sewage. This distance is designed to help protect coastal waters from pollution. Now, there are special areas like the Mediterranean Sea and Baltic Sea where rules get even stricter. In these special areas, untreated sewage cannot be discharged at all, no matter how far you are from shore. Instead, ships can only release treated sewage and it has to meet specific standards. Now, next, let's talk about speed. When a ship discharges sewage, it must be traveling at a minimum speed of 4 knots. This is important because it helps ensure that sewage is diluted in the water, reducing its environmental impact. So if you're on a ship and you hear the captain say, "We're about to discharge sewage," you can check the speed. If it's under 4 knots, something might off. Next is treatment requirements. Now, not all ships have the same capabilities when it comes to sewage treatment. Ships equipped with the approved sewage treatment plant can discharge treated sewage. But here's the catch. The effluent must meet specific standards. The biochemical oxygen demand should not exceed 25 mg. Total suspended solids must be below 30 mg. Fecal coliform bacteria levels can't be over 1000 per 100 ml. These standards are in place to ensure that what's being released in the ocean is clean as possible. Next is recording and documentation. Ships are required to keep a sewage record book. This log must include detail like the date and time of the discharge, the ship's position, latitude and longitude, the distance from land at the time of discharge, the amount of sewage discharge, any treatment methods used. This record is crucial for accountability and can be checked during inspections. Lastly, when it comes to discharging sewage, it must be done safely and according to the regulations. If the sewage is treated properly, it can be discharged directly into the oceans, provided the ship follows the required distance and speeds rules. That's all. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I will discuss the equipment and system requirements under MARPOL Annex 4. First, let's talk about the types of sewage treatment system used on ships. There are mainly two types, the sewage treatment plants and the comminuting and disinfecting system. Sewage treatment plants, the discharge of raw sewage into the sea such as medical facilities, toilets, urinals, and overused personal belongings that can create a health hazard. This can also lead to oxygen depletion and can be an obvious visual pollution in coastal areas, a major problem for countries with tourist industries. The main sources of human-produced sewage are land-based, such as municipal sewers or treatment plants. However, the discharge of sewage into the sea from ships also contributes to marine pollution. These are designed to treat sewage on board, making it safe to discharge into the sea. Comminuting and disinfecting system. This system grind up the sewage and then disinfect it, also making it safe for discharge. Ang purpose naman nito is para matulungan ma-disinfect ang mga sewage para bago dumating ang process of disposal is sure well inspection na ito. Let's move on to holding tank requirements. Holding tank requirements. Ang holding tank requirements ay ang mga tangke na ginagamit para pag-imbakan ng mga sewage habang nasa biyahe ang barko. Importante ito upang maiwasan ang pagtapon ng untreated sewage sa dagat at mapanatili ang maayos na postura ng katubigan. Holding tanks depend on the number of people on board and their usage. When used maximally, such tanks could require emptying every couple of days. However, with careful use and limiting of non-essential water usage, it can last a week or more before needing to be emptied. Kailangan rin na ibase sa dami ng crew sa barko ang paglilimita sa holding tanks when it comes to maintain the maritime environment. The role of a holding tank cannot be overstated. Maritime safety guidelines and regulations mandate appropriate use and maintenance of these tanks to protect the ocean environment and health of all aboard. These tanks must be properly sized to hold the sewage generated during the voyage. Equipped with level indicators to monitor the amount of sewage in the tank and avoid overflows. By following these requirements, we measure the prevention of pollution from ships, protecting our marine environment.
Magandang buhay po sa inyo lahat. Midshipman Francis Vicente Charlie. Ang topic ko po ngayon ay port reception facilities. Obligation of ports to provide reception. There are parts required to provide adequate reception facilities for various types of waste, including sewage. Ito po yung facilities na must handle sewage for the vessel to prevent marine pollution. Katulad ng mga yung mga pagtatapon ng basura, ganun, kailangan pa iwasan. So po dito yung garbage parts must accommodate the disposal of garbage as per MARPOL Annex 5 regulation. Ito rin po yung basura na dapat nilalagay sa tamang lagayan para makaiwas ng pollution sa dagat. Number 3 po, oil hazardous waste facilities must be available for reception of oily waste and other hazardous materials in compliance with MARPOL Annex 1 and Annex 2. Number 4 po, this obligation ensure that parts contribute to protection of the maritime environment for preventing the discharge of waste of area. 6 po natin is yung procedure of sewage reception. Without, yung 8 po is causing delays. And, hindi po pala 8 yun. Ano po yung 6? Ang 7 ko po is to efficiently handle sewage reception without delaying vessel operation. Parts can implement the following procedure. Ito po yung dapat gawin, yung madidelay yung mga shipping vessel. Kasi po, nakaka-apekto rin po sa oras ng mga vessel. At makapumba. Tapos sumunod po is pre-arrival notification. Vessel should notify the port of their sewage disposal needs in allowing the proper planning and resource allocation. Susunod ko po dito is number 9 po yung susunod ko dito. Pang 9 is dedicate reception points. Establish a designated area for sewage reception. Equip with the necessary infrastructure to facilitate quick transfer. And next ko po is efficient pump out system. Utilize high capacity ramp up system. Minimize waiting times to vessel. Tapos process develop clear step-by-step procedure for the disposal process, ensuring crew members know that to expect and can complete the process swiftly. Next po is regular maintenance. Ensure that the reception facilities are well maintained and operation at all times to prevent service interruption. Ito po yung kailangan maayos po na-check yung vessel bago gamitin or lumayag po. Kahit yung mga sa makina po, kailangan po organized check po siya at na-inspect bago sa panda rin. Next ko po is yung training and resources. Provide training for part staff on handling sewage efficiency in jelly and equip them with the necessary tools. Ito naman po yung bawat crew members na tinuturuan kung paano gamitin yung mga training equipment, sewage. Ito po yung mga equipment na tinuturo kung paano gamitin sa mga crew members. Tulad po ng mga PPE. Kaya po sila training and nare-resource. Kailangan po ng isang crew members na may experience yung training na ganun para po malaman niya ng maayos yung gagawin kung sakaling magkaroon ng anomalya sa barko. Tapos po, need din pong talagang mag-training ng ganun dahil hindi basta-basta ang pagbabarko po. Kailangan may alam ka sa safety. And alam mo dapat yung mga basic resources na training. Lalong-lalo na po, crew members at paano kung may mga sakay kayong iba. Kailangan mo rin silang i-guide po. Dapat alam mo yung mga training na basic para may alam ka. Yun lang po. Thank you.
The International Sewage Pollution Prevention Certificate ISPP certificates are essential for ensuring compliance with the International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships, MARPOL, specifically Annex 4. First, Regulatory Framework MARPOL Annex 4. This convention sets the standard for the prevention of pollution by sewage from ships. National regulations in individual countries may have additional requirements aligned with MARPOL. Next, issuance process application ship owners must apply a recognized organization. Example, Classification Society for the certificate. Documentation, submit necessary documentation including ship's design and operational details. Details of sewage treatment system on board. Next, compliance with technical standard sewage treatment system. Must meet specific performance standards. Example, disinfection levels, operational procedures, implementation on board, procedures for sewage management. Next is surveys and inspection. Initial survey before insurance. A true inspection of sewage treatment system is required periodical surveys. Regular inspection typically annually to ensure ongoing compliance. Next is record keeping logbook. Maintenance of record related to sewage treatment and disposal operation data. Documentation of any discharge and maintenance activities. And next, training and awareness crew. Training personnel must be trained in sewage management and compliance with survey procedures and compliance check for international sewage pollution prevention certificates involve several key steps to ensure adherence to MARPOL Annex 4 standards. First, pre-survey preparation documentation review. Collect and review relevant documents, including ship technical specification, previous service records, sewage treatment system manuals. Crew training. Ensure crew members are familiar with sewage management procedures and record keeping. Next, initial survey. Physical inspection. Conduct a true inspection of the sewage treatment system, including condition and functionality of the system, compliance with installation requirements system, testing performance operational test for verify for the sewage treatment system meets performance standards. Review procedures. Evaluate on-board procedure for handling sewage, including discharge protocols. Number 3 is operational compliance check. Logbook verification. Inspect the ship's logbook to ensure accurate record keeping of sewage treatment and discharge operation. Maintain activities and any malfunctions. Crew interviews. Conduct interviews with crew members to assess their knowledge and adherence to sewage management practices. Condition and functionality of the system, compliance with installation requirements system, testing performance operational test for verify for the sewage treatment system meets performance standards. Review procedures. Evaluate on-board procedure for handling sewage, including discharge protocols. Number 3 is operational compliance check. Logbook verification. Inspect the ship's logbook to ensure accurate record keeping of sewage treatment and discharge operation. Maintain activities and any malfunctions. Crew interviews. Conduct interviews with crew members to assess their knowledge and adherence to sewage management practices. Periodic survey. Routine inspections. Conduct annual inspection to ensure continued compliance. This may involve rechecking the sewage treatment system, validating records and logbook, reassessing procedures, review and evaluate any changes to operational procedures of system upgrades. Next is non-compliance action. Issuing confidence if deficiencies are identified. The surveyor will issue a deficiency report outlining required corrective action. Follow-up inspection to verify that corrective actions have been implemented. Next is insurance of certificate. Upon successful completion of survey and confirmation of compliance, the SPP certified will be issued or renewed. The certificate remains valid for up to 5 years, subject to outcome of periodic survey. And next, post-survey reporting survey report. Comply a detailed report summarizing the findings and action taken during the surveys. Feedback mechanism. Provide recommendation for continuous improvement in sewage management practices. Compliance monitoring. Ongoing compliance monitoring involves regular training, audits, and updates to procedure to adapt to any regulation changes or advance in technology. Next is non-compliance action. Issuing confidence if deficiencies are identified, the surveyor will issue a deficiency report outlining required corrective action. Follow-up inspection to verify that corrective actions have been implemented. Next is insurance of certificate. Upon successful completion of survey and confirmation of compliance, the SPP certified will be issued or renewed. The certificate remains valid for up to 5 years, subject to outcome of periodic survey. And next, post-survey reporting survey report. Comply a detailed report summarizing the findings and action taken during the surveys. Feedback mechanism. Provide recommendation for continuous improvement in sewage management practices. Compliance monitoring. Ongoing compliance monitoring involves regular training, audits, and updates to procedure to adapt to any regulation changes or advance in technology.